He was broke, homeless, and so desperate, he sold his beloved dog for $50. That man was Sylvester Stallone. And his story will change the way you see failure forever. Before we dive in, remember to subscribe to the Ascent. Every week, we bring you stories of people who rose from nothing to greatness. Stories that prove it's never too late to fight for your dream. Let's rewind the clock to the early 1970s. Sylvester Stallone's life was a series of closed doors and fading hopes. He was a struggling actor in New York City, moving from one audition to the next, facing rejection after rejection. Casting agents dismissed him over 1,000 times. Some said his face was too unique, his voice too slurred, his look too unconventional for Hollywood. He was down to his last $106, a handful of bills that felt like a cruel joke in a city that never slept. Stallone's living conditions grew increasingly desperate. He spent weeks sleeping at a bus station, huddled against the cold, trying to keep his spirits alive. He had nowhere to go, no safety net, no one to call for help. His dream of making it as an actor seemed impossible. But the lowest point came when he was forced to sell his dog, Butkus, for $50. To Stallone, Butkus was more than a pet. He was his closest companion, his comfort in the hardest times. Letting go of his dog for money to buy food was the ultimate act of desperation, a moment that nearly broke him. But it's often in our darkest moments that something ignites inside, a spark, a flicker of hope. For Stallone, that moment arrived one night in 1975. He watched the legendary boxing match between Muhammad Ali and Chuck Wepner. Wepner, an underdog no one expected to go the distance, managed to knock down Ali and fight until the very last round. Wepner lost, but he gave everything he had. The world saw a man who refused to quit no matter the odds. That fight lit a fire inside Stallone. He saw himself in Wepner, the forgotten contender, the one everyone doubted, the man with nothing left but heart. Inspired, Stallone rushed home and began to write. Fueled by raw emotion and years of frustration, he wrote the entire screenplay for Rocky in just 3 days. His pen moved fast, his ideas poured out, and at the end of it, he held a story that was more than just a movie. It was his own life, poured onto the page. Once the script was finished, Stallone took it to Hollywood. Studios loved the story. They saw the underdog tale, the grit, the hope, the triumph. But there was a catch. None of them wanted Stallone to star as Rocky Balboa. They offered him $360,000, an enormous sum, especially for someone who had nothing. It was money that could have changed his life overnight, but Stallone refused. He stood his ground. He said, "If I'm not Rocky, the movie doesn't get made." He believed, with every fiber of his being, that only he could bring Rocky's spirit to life. His conviction was unshakable. His determination, absolute. It was a gamble that could have cost him everything. But sometimes, faith in yourself is the only card you have to play. Finally, United Artists agreed to take a chance. The budget was tight, only $1 million, barely enough for a major film. Stallone got the role. He poured his soul into every scene, channeling his own struggles and triumphs into the character of Rocky Balboa. When the film premiered, it was an instant sensation. Rocky grossed $225 million worldwide, an astronomical success for a movie made on a shoestring budget. The film won 3 Academy Awards, including Best Picture. Stallone's performance became iconic. He was no longer the man sleeping at bus stations. He was the star of one of the greatest underdog stories ever told. With his new success, Stallone tracked down the man who had bought his dog. He paid thousands of dollars to buy Butkus back, reuniting with his loyal friend. The moment was a symbol of everything Stallone had lost and everything he had reclaimed. The steps of the Philadelphia Museum of Art, where Rocky triumphantly ran in the film, became a symbol of hope and determination. People from all walks of life traveled to those steps, running to the top and raising their arms in victory, just like Rocky. The steps became a monument to the American dream. A dream that says if you work hard, believe in yourself, and refuse to give up, you can achieve greatness. Stallone didn't just write a movie. He wrote his way out of poverty. He transformed his pain into art, his desperation into inspiration. Rocky wasn't just a character. He was every person who has ever felt beaten down by life, but chose to keep fighting. Stallone's journey reminds us that the road to success is rarely easy or straightforward. It's filled with setbacks, heartbreak, and moments where giving up seems like the only option. But it's also filled with opportunities to rise, to rewrite your story, and to prove that failure is never final. Sylvester Stallone's story is proof that greatness often hides in the shadows, waiting for someone bold enough to chase it. His journey from homelessness to Hollywood legend is a testament to the power of persistence, courage, and self-belief. If this story inspired you, subscribe to The Ascent, because tomorrow's legend might just be you.